Part 42. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 411. After 2 episodes of Me and It, on Daowenyuk's Weibo, in addition to the vigorous registration of private hosts, there was also a very strong call: many people want to adopt stray animals. The word wandering has a special meaning for animals. For example, if a monkey wanders around in the deep mountains and old forests, is it considered a wanderer? Obviously it doesn't count, but if it wanders around the city all day long, sleeps under bridges when it's tired, and squats at the door of a small restaurant to order leftovers when it's thirsty, its living conditions may be better than in the mountains, but this can be divided to the ranks of stray animals. After 2 episodes of Me and It, the number of people who watched the live broadcast was close to 300,000. The recorded video was disseminated through various channels. It is impossible to count how many people have watched it. People who have watched the video are overwhelmed with love and are looking for stray animals to adopt. In just 1 week, Yangchuan City's stray cats and dogs were almost wiped out. There are only a few stray animals in a community, and many communities don't have them yet. They can only go to other communities to buy goods. The quick ones have them, but the slow ones don't. For a time, stray animals have become a hot commodity. The Environmental Protection Department was a little shocked. All the stray animals in the city disappeared overnight. They thought a large-scale animal plague had occurred and sent people to investigate. After finally checking the situation, I actually gave the zoo a thank you call. If you just adopt stray animals, this is a good thing, at least not a bad thing. But the problem is that fans who have adopted cats and dogs take their new babies to the pet hospital for a physical checkup, grooming, and then take the photos with them and post them on Daowenyuk's Weibo, signing up to participate in I and It column. To be more serious, they are indeed people with stories. Saving kittens and puppies is a story in itself, and you are eligible to sign up. But the problem is, as a result, the number of anchor registrations has suddenly doubled compared to before, and there are thousands of people. For the first episode of the program, Su Ming confirmed the candidates. Su Ming planned and hosted Su Ming. For the second episode of the program, Su Ming determined the candidates and made the program outline. For the third episode of the program, Su Ming only selected the guests and left the rest to anchor. From the 4th issue onwards, Su Ming stopped interfering at all. He just wants to train the anchor step by step. It's hard for those young anchors now. Well, there are thousands of guest candidates, how can they have so much energy to screen them one by one? When Su Ming arrived at the zoo's main office, Sister Tong and several enthusiastic employees in the office were busy giving advice to the frowning anchors. Let the Yangchuan Forum conduct auditions to help with your workload. The stories about stray cats and stray dogs are all the same, just pick one and the meaning will be. Otherwise, how about asking a Shen University engineer to design a software for automatic screening? Isn't it all about intelligent office nowadays? Use software to help you choose, and you only need to click a few mouse. The office is noisy, but it is very harmonious. It can be seen that in just over a month, the young people on the entertainment company's live broadcast platform and the old employees of the zoo have gotten along very well. It is not because there is a gap between people from 2 units. Seeing Su Ming push the door open and come in, people in the office either looked this way or turned around and greeted Su Ming one after another. Director. Mr. Su. People in the 2 units had different names. Su Ming nodded and said with a smile, "What about the guests?" Yes, Sister Tong is an old employee. She has watched Su Ming grow up little by little. She is not restrained in front of Su Ming. She turned the computer screen on the desktop to show Su Ming. On the screen is the Weibo account of Daowenyuk, and the messages below are almost all in the same format. Sign up, Zhang Xiaosan, pet, lame little yellow cat, followed by a photo. Registration, Luo Dadu, pet, little native dog with broken arm, A photo was attached. The entire computer page was full of messages in the same format. Sister Tong smiled and said, "A few young people are worried to death. We old guys are here to help them find a way. It just so happens that you, the director, are here. You have the most lively brains. Well, would you like to give me an idea?" Several young anchors were a little embarrassed when they were told this, and smiled. Su-ming doesn't have any solution now. If he is willing to think hard, he should be able to think of a good solution. But this time, he didn't want to take action to help the anchors solve their problems. Whether it is an individual's career or the development of an organization, it is inevitable that you will encounter various emergencies and unexpected problems. The company is getting bigger and bigger now, just like a sophisticated machine. People in each position perform their duties and handle the things they are responsible for, so that the company can run smoothly. If Su-ming had to solve any big or small problems, then other employees of the company would never be able to truly grow. It is also difficult for the company to find talents who can truly take on the leading role on their own, so they can only work in small ways. Su-ming is not a rich second generation, and the company is not a family business. He has no capable people left to him by the previous generation, and he does not have the strength now to go to a high-paying headhunter, so he can only truly start from scratch. In actual work, develop talents. A good boss doesn't worry about talents changing jobs. He would rather some of the talents he trains change jobs than let the company be filled with mediocre people. What's more, it's too far away to think whether these people will change jobs in the future. Sister Tong, you are worrying for nothing. Su-ming laughed, turned his head and looked at the anchors, saying, "Since the work has been handed over to you, I will not interfere. What to do, you decide for yourself. If you have a solution and need the company's cooperation when implementing it, then you can go to Mr. Wang or come to me." After that, he patted an anchor on the shoulder and said, "Don't have any burdens. You are all people I chose. I believe in my own vision and your ability even more." These words clearly did not give any substantive suggestions to the anchors, but instead showed an attitude of don't care, but the eyes of several young anchors lit up all of a sudden. Sometimes, what young people need is not the so-called authority or senior to point fingers at them. It is possible that the suggestions are good, but invisibly, it is equivalent to telling them, "You can't do it, you have to listen to me." When young people are used to listening to the advice of authority in everything, and even when there is no authority to guide them, they can't even walk the road. Their creativity and enthusiasm are completely useless. What they need is trust. Su-ming's words gave them the greatest trust. "Boss Su, don't worry. Even if we work overtime and don't sleep, we will definitely do a good job on the show." A young anchor was about to cry, his voice was hoarse. "No need for that, health comes first." Su-ming was talking when Sister Tong suddenly interrupted him, "Director, someone is scolding us online." Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 412. What's going on? A warm and inspirational drama is being staged here in the good place, and in the blink of an eye, it turns into an urban network competition. It ruins the atmosphere. It's also strange. The reputation of the zoo now couldn't be better. Among the people, the zoo is a warm little harbor. Officially, the zoo is a moral model. The Health Bureau is coming to send a banner. Even on the internet, which is always full of scoldings, few people say anything bad about the zoo. It's all right, who went to Weibo to scold me? A group of people gathered around Sister Tong's computer to watch. The person who started the scolding was a netizen named Boiling Overlord. "The Zoo live broadcast platform is garbage, a bastard, and a hypocritical hypocrite. I hope everyone on your platform will die. Make some gift money to burn paper for you." Seeing this fresh and hot message, people in the office had different reactions. Sister Tong and her group of older employees were not familiar with the style of swear wars on the internet, and their faces darkened when faced with such vicious curses. "How can you talk like that? This is so unqualified," an old office employee in his 50s said with a frown. Several young anchors were gearing up one by one, preparing to log into their accounts and fight back fiercely. Speaking of online scolding wars, the anchors who rely on the internet to make a living are at least semi-professionals. They can curse each other for half an hour without using the same words. Those with high level can even remove the other party without using a single curse word. From skin to bone, all 18 generations of ancestors greet each other. Su Ming is not angry, nor does he have the consciousness to fight. There are too many people on the internet who curse for no reason. If he really cares about them, he will be angry to death, so he might as well stop surfing the internet. "Come on, I don't know whose crotch is not clamped, let him out. Don't pay attention to him." Su Ming's attitude was to just laugh it off. The more this kind of person ignored him, the more excited he became. There is no need for the zoo to take action. The Daowen Weibo account has millions of fans. Even if only 1 in 1,000 people are browsing Weibo at this time, the power of counterattack is not something that this boiling overlord can withstand. In other words, while Su Ming and the others were talking, the fans' counterattack had already arrived. You troll. At director, the director, hurry up and send the grass mud horse out to fight with this beast. Did you not brush your teeth when you went out in the morning? Your mouth was full of shit. Daowen Yuk is the public opinion position of the zoo, the territory of the zoo. The boiling overlord rushed over alone, purely looking for death. As soon as a curse word came out, it was immediately flooded by a flood of messages. The boiling overlord seemed to be standing in front of the screen, replying a few messages not to be outdone. However, this overlord didn't seem to be very good at scolding under the siege of the fans at the zoo. He could only use pure insults and curse words to fight back. A lot of inappropriate words for children immediately appeared on the screen. The two sides fought fiercely for more than 10 minutes. Strictly speaking, the overlord who started the trouble was scolded for more than 10 minutes. Finally, he realized that this was an unwinnable war and left a sentence, "You guys wait, stay tuned, I will come back." And then disappeared. It was a mindless scolding battle that left a group of people at the zoo and live broadcast platform confused. Who is this boiling overlord, and why does he seem to have a deep hatred for the zoo? Or is he just an idle guy who came here to vent aimlessly? Fans on Weibo also had the same question. What does this person do? Do you know how to use human flesh? Find him. Some people even scold him at the zoo. I can't understand this at all. Is this person a psychopath? Su Ming didn't take it seriously. Nowadays, everyone is there on the internet, so it's impossible to guess what the other person is thinking in his mind. It wasn't until he saw that some netizens had actually dehumanized themselves that he quickly posted, "Don't pay attention to him. Some people really only have shit in their heads. If you want to understand the thoughts of such people, you must first think about it. It's also full of shit. Anyway, I won't pretend, and there's no need for you to pretend to be shit in your head for this kind of person." As soon as Su Ming's account appeared, it immediately attracted a large group of people. Ha ha ha, the director is so right. From now on, we will call people who squirt when they open their mouths poop people. At boiling overlord, come and eat shit. There was a rather unscrupulous guy who deliberately at boiling overlord. Catch a wild zookeeper alive. Who can lend me a cage? Director, have you offended anyone recently? Director, please spoiler, who is the guest in the next episode? My girlfriend said that if the director doesn't choose her as a guest, she will cry to me. Director, please do me a favor, or I will cry to you. Are there any stray animals that can be adopted in the zoo? I repeat the important thing 3 times, are there any stray animals that can be adopted in the zoo? Are there any stray animals that can be adopted in the zoo? This man is crazy. The netizen who just said it 3 times continued, "No, because I want to confess to a girl that she likes a caring man. If I can adopt a stray animal, the success rate will be greatly increased." Director, I am serious. Still crazy. The normal chat and discussion on Weibo had a good atmosphere. Su Ming smiled and chatted a few more words. It was just a small episode. After the scolding, it was over. No one present took it too seriously and quickly went back to work. Hundreds of miles away, in Nana's room on the Boiling Live platform in Gyeongjin City, Nana was performing how to tear up black stockings, and the boiling overlord appeared again. "Brothers, there are too many beasts on the Zoo Live platform. I don't have enough firepower alone. Call for support. What's going on? Just now I went to seek justice for Nana baby and was besieged by the other side. Men, follow me and kill those bastards. If there is such a thing, kill them. Let those bastards see the power of Nana's fan club. The butt determines the head." People in different camps, of course, support their comrades in arms. Many people didn't even understand what happened. After being instigated by a few words from the boiling overlord, they showed their courage in front of Nana baby and joined the battle. Nana hesitated a little. The story she told before was probably fabricated to gain sympathy and pretend to be pitiful. She knew this very well. If the two sides quarreled, she might not be right in the end. But on second thought, who can prove that this story is fabricated? Besides, online quarrels are not reasonable at all. Who will pursue it when the quarrels are red-eyed? And the more fiercely the two sides quarrel, the more famous she will be. It would be best if the quarrels were known to the whole country, then she could become a nationally famous anchor overnight. Thinking of this, she said delicately, "Thank you brothers for supporting Nana. Nana is waiting for you to return victoriously. At that time, there will be a big surprise for everyone." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 413. Su Ming and Tony were training Happy and Lion Dragon on a large lawn in the zoo. Tony now has 2 jobs. Su Ming's aircraft technician and horse trainer. Most of the time he stayed in Yangchuan Zoo, and lived in Mingqing residence with Liang Shi and Master Peng. Mingqing residence is about to be converted into a staff dormitory. Uncle Sudisheng, who leads the construction team, sometimes borrows a bed after work. Nangong Huang has moved in a long time ago. Tingfeng Pavilion is under construction all day and cannot be lived in. Happy and Lion Dragon are race horses after all. If you want to train a group of race horses, it is not a simple free range, giving them freedom. Just like athletes, they must have professional coaches, professional training, and even customized diets. If the 2 horses are allowed to do whatever they want, it will be difficult to maintain the current level, not to mention improvement. Just wait for them to get fat. In fact, after just 1 month of free life, these 2 guys have begun to gain weight. Ever since the 2 reserve mounts, second senior brother and second pig, were taken back to the zoo by Su Ming and released in the back mountain, the 2 horses were reluctant to play with the alpacas. In some ways, animals making friends is similar to humans, and they emphasize a good match. Perhaps because they felt that the alpacas were too low-end and not on the same level as mounts, De Kuihuo and Shibao Long turned to become good friends with the 2 wild boars. Although wild boars are spare mounts, they are still considered mounts after all, and playing with them does not lower their status too much. Playing with the alpacas, the 2 race horses learn the skill of spitting saliva, which is nothing, it just makes them look a bit rogue. But the closer you are to the redder you are, and the closer you are to the wild boar, the greedier you are. The 2 horses followed the 2 wild boars around the back mountain all day, eating non-stop from morning to night. It just so happens that the wild boar's nose is very sharp, and it can dig out the food buried in the soil. The resources in the back mountain are rich, which is simply a large food warehouse. All day long, the wild boar is looking for food in front, and the two horses follow behind to eat, eating as they go. Tony was heartbroken to see that the two purebred race horses, which were once extraordinary, were developing in the direction of enhanced big pigs. As Su Ming's personal horse trainer, Tony found Su Ming and proposed to take the two horses back to the Hong Kong Jockey Club for training. Originally, Su Ming did arrange it this way, letting the two horses play in the zoo for a while, and then sending them back to the Jockey Club for training. However, now the two horses are wild and don't seem to want to go back. And the horse owners, Su Ming and Nangong Yan, are reluctant to let them go. Which Chinese man didn't have the dream of a wild horse singing when he was a child? Which Chinese woman didn't fantasize about a prince riding a white horse one day? If the traffic rules did not allow it, Su Ming would have wanted to use the Lion Burger to replace the Wrangler. With a real horse, why would he need a fake Wrangler? Even if he could not ride on the street, he would sneak around the ring road every few nights. As for whether he could win a place in the competition in the future and whether he could earn a prize, Su Ming did not think too much about it. But what Tony said made sense. He could not just watch these two horses turn into super fat pigs. Fortunately, the zoo has a lot of empty space. About 1/3 of the entire park is a viewing area, with large tracts of woods and grassland. Su Ming simply marked out a grassland of about 20 acres, surrounded it with fences, and used it as a horse training ground. He also built 2 horse sheds for Tony to train horses here. De Kui Huo and Lion Burger finally have a proper home. The grass was slightly modified. The inner circle was still a lawn, with several rows of wooden fences of different heights and shapes. The outer circle was weeded and covered with sand to form a circular track. The horses grew fatter, but they were not lazy. They were born with the blood of sports flowing in their veins, and they quickly adapted to the training life. De Kui Huo gracefully paced in the inner circle and conducted obstacle training. Shi Baolong was more unrestrained and ran wildly around the outer track. The 2 horses trained here, attracting many tourists, who lay on the surrounding fences and watched with great interest. Someone who often came to the zoo knew Su Ming. Seeing that Su Ming was there, he went up and greeted him with a smile and asked Su Ming if the zoo was going to set up an equestrian club. Not for the time being, Su Ming said. When he created the Riding Fish project, he asked Wang Hao to help order a batch of saddles. Wang Hao thought he was going to run a horse farm and specifically advised him to give up this idea. Equestrianism is an elegant sport, a gentleman's sport, and a pretentious sport, but it also means that it is a very expensive sport. Unlike those scenic spots where you can take photos while riding a horse, or take a few steps on an old horse, the investment of a truly high-end horse farm is calculated in tens of millions, including renting venues, purchasing race horses, hiring professional jockeys, and the annual maintenance costs are also frighteningly high. The opposite of high investment is low return. Horse riding is not popular in China. The high annual membership fee and the certain risks of the sport have greatly restricted the promotion of horse farms. Even the country has not specifically promoted this sport. There is a professional horse farm in the suburbs of Yangchuan City. The owner is from Hong Kong and knows Wang Jianxi. It is said that when the horse farm was first established, more than 8 million yuan was invested at one time, and there are still millions of yuan in expenses every year, but the profit model is very simple, basically relying on the membership system. The highest level annual fee VIP membership is only 12,000 yuan. There are only an average of 30 to 40 new members every year, and members continue to withdraw, so there is no profit at all. Fortunately, the boss has other profitable main businesses, and opening a horse farm is purely a personal interest. This is also a realistic description of the current situation of domestic horse farms. In super cities such as Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, Equestrian clubs rarely make profits, and they can only operate with subsidies from the boss's main business. Su Ming also specially asked Wang Hao to help count that those who are willing to pay annual membership fees in the jockey club have an annual income of at least 300,000 yuan. If it is a family, the annual income of the whole family basically exceeds 1 million. There are not a few such people in Yangchuan City, but those who love riding are rare. The audience base is small and the popularity rate is low. There is basically no future for running an equestrian club now. However, not running it now does not mean not running it in the future. The zoo is preparing to build it into a large tourist area. Having a professional horse farm will add a lot of color. Su Ming was considering the grand blueprint for the future when the phone rang. It was Sister Tong who called. "Director, where are you? Go online and check it out. That little bully is scolding on Weibo again," Sister Tong said anxiously. "This is endless," Su Ming was furious. Dividing line. "I have to say, the college entrance examination has begun, and the high school entrance examination is coming soon. I hope that the readers in these two stages will focus on the exams. I wish you good grades. Anyway, my grades have never been good, so I can only pin my hopes on you. Super Zoo." Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 414. The online quarrel suddenly escalated. Boiling Little Overlord found a large number of helpers from nowhere and started a large-scale attack on Daowen Yuke's Weibo. Su Ming turned on his computer and logged into Weibo, and found that several pages were full of quarrels. Even the registration information that had been flooding the screen before was drowned out. After a few glances, he felt that his IQ and quality had been lowered by a large margin. "I can't go on like this. My IQ and quality are already low enough. If they are lowered by this group of people, wouldn't I become an idiot?" Su Ming rubbed his chin and rolled his eyes a few times. If the Little Overlord incident was an accident at the beginning, Su Ming could still laugh it off, but the current frequent quarrel has affected the normal operation of Weibo and he can no longer sit idly by. After a few glances, there were dozens of people on the Little Overlord side. Obviously, they all knew each other. When one person spoke, a group of people immediately came up to help. Although the total number of people is relatively small, the firepower is very concentrated, and it is clear that they came prepared. For a time, they fought to a draw with the fans of Daowen Yuke. There is no love without reason, nor is there hatred without reason. There must be a reason for the quarrel on Weibo. It seems to be related to a female anchor named Nana who resigned from the original live broadcast platform. Shenyan has selected all the content related to the quarrel. The original source of the quarrel, the people on the side of Xiaoba Wang, mentioned that the Zoo live broadcast platform withheld Nana's gifts, and there were leaders who wanted to use unspoken rules on Nana. However, online quarrels are easy to go off topic. As the two sides cursed, they deviated from the original topic and started a chaotic fight. Wang Hao was also present. When Shenyan said the three words "unspoken rules," everyone's eyes looked at him involuntarily. The direct leader of the live broadcast platform is Wang Hao. Everyone knows that Su Ming usually doesn't manage things. The platform's operation anchor programs are arranged by Wang Hao. If it comes to withholding and unspoken rules, Wang Hao has the greatest chance. Shenyan and Wang Hao were also classmates. They knew that this guy was quite lustful in the past, so they had to think about it. Wang Hao's face darkened. "This is purely a mother giving birth." "Ah? What do you mean?" Su Ming and Shenyan were both stunned. "What does it have to do with giving birth?" "Blood slander." Wang Hao punched the table heavily, shaking all the documents on the table, and said angrily, "The platform's accounts are clear, and there is evidence to prove whether there is any deduction. As for the hidden rules, you know Nana, you wish I could have a hidden rule with her. Will I fire you for being faithful and unyielding?" Wang Hao's hands were shaking with anger. The accusation of hidden rules was fine. There were all men present. Even if he took the blame, everyone could understand it. It was nothing great. But the charge of withholding gifts was too bad. He and Su Ming were not only superiors and subordinates, but also friends and classmates. It seemed that he was making money behind Su Ming's back. How could they get along in the future? Don't get excited, Lao Wang. No one said they don't believe you. I've watched her live show before. The gift is not worth much. If you want to deduct money, there is no need to deduct it from her. Su Ming patted Wang Hao on the shoulder, signaling him to calm down and not to worry. Shen Yan calmly analyzed on the side, the war of words has affected the normal order of Weibo and the live broadcast platform. This is the top priority. There are two ways. The first is to deal with it coldly. Don't care about them, let it go, and let it fade away according to the general rules of the internet. Su Ming thought about it. It's not that this method is not possible, but it's not good. The other party is slandering the zoo. If the zoo does not come forward to clarify, even if the matter is over, it will bear a reputation stain, which will inevitably lead to the loss of fans. More importantly, why did the fans of Dao Wenyuk start a war of words with Xiaoba Wang? In the final analysis, it is to maintain the honor of the zoo. It's not a good thing to swear. Su Ming has beaten and even killed people, but he doesn't like to swear. But the fans did this for the zoo, and some people did it directly to protect Su Ming. At this time, how could he sit back and pretend that he didn't see anything? Su Ming is a very protective person. Not to mention that the fans of the zoo did nothing wrong. Even if they did, he would support them without hesitation, because they are fighting for the zoo. Then come out and explain and clarify, Shen Yan said, but the internet is not a court, it doesn't mean that having evidence will work. Then explain it first. Su Ming thought for a while and asked Wang Hao, where did Nana go after she left? I don't know, I'll check, Wang Hao said briefly. Okay, he turned to Shen Yan and asked, I have a feeling that this incident is not accidental. There seems to be a pusher behind it. Can you track down the netizens of Xiaoba Wang? Accurate information like IP addresses is difficult to obtain and cannot be tracked. Shen Yan pondered for a moment and said, but people who often go online will inevitably leave various traces. I can grab information on the web page for analysis and comparison, and I should be able to get some information about the other party's netizens. Su Ming also didn't understand the terms Shen Yan said, and only said, okay, you go and do it, be careful not to break the law. As the business grew bigger and the family assets became thicker, Su Ming paid more and more attention to abiding by laws and regulations. It's not that his moral character is so noble, but there is no need to leave handles on small details. Breaking the law has a cost. If the cost is too high, only fools will break the law. When the company becomes bigger, there will be fewer and fewer things worth breaking the law. In addition, regarding the zoo and the anchors of the live broadcast platform, Sister Tong and Wang Hao, you two should tell them to keep restraint and do what they should do, and don't get involved. Su Ming continued to make arrangements. Okay, Sister Tong and Wang Hao nodded at the same time, and Wang Hao added, it's just too annoying. Weibo is our home court. If there is a real fight, we are not afraid of them. What's there to be angry about? Su Ming glared at him. This is not a question of whether to be afraid or not. Who is Nana? She is just a small figure who makes money by selling coquettishness. If we go to quarrel with her fans, we will lower our status. Maybe she is eager to increase her value through verbal battles and hype. We go to quarrel with her and fall into her trap. Wang Hao was stunned. Are you saying that there is a pusher behind this? Not sure, Su Ming grinned, but I know one thing, if you encounter a dog biting someone, the first choice is to avoid it. If you can't avoid it, just beat it to death. There is no need to bark at it. A sentence has different interpretations when it falls into the ears of different people. Sister Tong is old, and her generation was taught to be gentle, respectful, frugal, and modest, to do less than more, not to cause trouble, and to endure if possible. So, she heard "get out of the way" and nodded, thinking that although the headmaster was young, he could still keep his composure. The two young men, Wang Hao and Shen Yan, heard the key point of kill with one blow, and secretly clenched their fists. Only Su Ming didn't think so much, neither radical nor cowardly. Some people hope to become famous through verbal battles, but he just doesn't follow the other party's rhythm. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 415. The daily work of the Zoo live broadcast platform is carried out in an orderly manner and has not been disturbed by the online war of words. Of course, some netizens who saw the news online will also leave messages during the live broadcast or on Weibo to ask what happened. It is said that the cause is that the zoo withheld gifts. The Zoo live broadcast platform has a hidden rule for female anchors? No way, I don't think the director is that kind of person. It's not the director, they are talking about the general manager of the live broadcast platform, a man named Wang. Not to the extent that, if we follow this logic, all the remaining female anchors of the zoo have been hidden. There are many male anchors. Could it be that Mr. He was also hidden? My 3 views are completely ruined. Your circle is too chaotic, the water is too deep. Director, come out and talk about it, what's going on? Every time they encounter questions, the anchors just laugh it off and don't discuss it in depth. They just tell the audience that the zoo will give an explanation soon. Soon, an announcement was posted on Daowen Yuke's Weibo. Announcement on the opening of the Zoo Live platform database. In the entire announcement, there was no mention of the previous verbal battle, let alone any hidden rules, gift deductions, or the resigned female anchor. It only said a simple sentence: the Zoo Live platform has been focusing on public welfare while making commercial profits. The database is currently being improved, and in the future, the flow of funds for public welfare can be checked. Everyone is welcome to contribute to public welfare and supervise it. At the same time, a link was released. In the web page, you can check the live content video of each anchor and the amount of gifts received. For each sum of money, how much should go into public welfare, how much is the commercial income of the live platform, and how much is the income of the anchor, all are clear. Although there is no mention of the previous verbal battle, anyone with a little bit of brains can see that since there is such detailed data support, even the detailed accounts of each period can be checked, it is impossible to have a problem of gift deduction. If the zoo really has deductions, it can be easily found in the database. As for the hidden rules, this is something that cannot be explained clearly. The database contains not only data from Nana's room, but also data from other anchors' rooms. By comparison, it can be found that Nana's performance has always been at the bottom, so there is nothing unreasonable about her resignation. The most intuitive thing is the replayed video. Everyone has eyes. They can watch the past videos for 2 episodes. A little analysis will reveal that Nana's style is completely incompatible with the zoo. No wonder the performance is so poor. At Boiling Overlord, your face is swollen, what else do you have to say? I've seen Nana's video, it's so disgusting, she looks like a chicken. No wonder she was expelled from the zoo. The first time I watched Nana's live broadcast was with my son. I turned off the screen after watching it for 2 minutes. It's not suitable for children at all. I thought the zoo was doing whatever it took to make money, but it turns out that I blamed the zoo wrongly. Support the director and Mr. Wang's pure revolutionary team. The Zoo live broadcast platform should follow the current route. Nana showed some seeds, please leave your email address. At Wang Hao, Mr. Wang, can I donate directly? The ironclad facts were in front of them, and Daowen Yuke's fans expressed their support. But as Shen Yan had expected before, things on the internet don't just need evidence. It's completely a matter of the butt deciding the head. If someone wants to scold or cause trouble, they can always find a reason. For example, A guy called the big brother of the rich family shouted below, "The hypocrites are here again. The database is operated by the zoo's technicians themselves, and they can change it however they want. At boiling overlord, come and watch the bastards perform. Beasts are beasts, they only know how to operate in secret and do something behind the scenes. If you have the guts, stand up and we will scold them face to face. I scolded you so hard that you kneeled down and sang conquer. Boiling overlord, a bunch of beasts are whitewashing themselves. If you have the guts, the zoo should open the database backend and let us go in and take a look. This is pure unreasonable trouble. No company in the world will open its database backend. This is not only related to commercial secrets, but also security issues. If the backend is open, everyone can add, delete, and modify it, and the data will be completely messed up. Director, don't be fooled. Yes, they are using provocation. Open the backend? They can think of it, little bully, why don't you open your wife's nude photos for us to see? You are illiterate and don't understand technology. Theoretically, the database can be changed, but the data are interconnected, and there is no isolated data. Changing a batch of data will definitely involve other data, which is too much work and will affect the internal statistics and accounts of the zoo. With the current database size of the zoo platform, changing the data is not worth the loss. A professional spoke out. The other party is simply making trouble for no reason. The fans of the zoo are excited and have proved the authenticity of the zoo data from various angles. However, facing a group of people who just want to quarrel with you, it is completely unreasonable. Seeing that the war of words is about to escalate again, Su Ming logged into his account and posted a long Weibo. To my friends. There is a saying that if you believe in you, you don't need to explain. If you don't believe in you, no matter how you explain, it's useless. But why do we still need to release the database? Our purpose is not to make those malicious people who deliberately find fault believe us. The zoo does not care about the feelings of such people. What we care about is you who have always supported the zoo. It is your selfless support that makes this weak platform grow stronger little by little. It is your kindness and good deeds that have helped those poor and lovely animals again and again. When someone stood in the dark corner and waved his fist at the zoo, it was you who stood up and protected the zoo without hesitation. You witnessed the growth of the zoo bit by bit, and experienced countless laughter and touching with all the employees. Therefore, we must publish the database just to tell the friends who have always supported the zoo, your efforts will not be in vain, and the zoo you love will never do anything despicable to disappoint you and shame you. The above is for my friends. Finally, I will give you another sentence: never debate with idiots, because he will pull our IQ to the same level as him, and then defeat us with rich experience. To be honest, we don't have much experience being idiots, so let's not have a discussion with idiots. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 416. As soon as this long article called to my friends came out, Weibo was abuzz again. Daowen-Yuko's Weibo fans basically have a common characteristic: they are caring and kind, and many of them are adults, the elderly and children. They are not very good at attacking people online with vicious words and dirty words. Su Ming never advocates swearing at others on Weibo. If swearing works, why do we need the police and fists? After killing those thieves, Su Ming clearly realized that talking nonsense has no meaning other than wasting saliva. Either do it directly, or stop talking about it. At the same time, the positioning of the zoo is also in the direction of warmth, relaxation, and entertainment. Therefore, the atmosphere in the Daowen-Yuk Weibo discussion forum has always been very harmonious. Sometimes everyone jokes and teases each other, and sometimes the words are harsh and inappropriate, but they all laugh it off, and there is rarely any scolding. This time the trouble was provoked by the boiling overlord, which gave people the feeling that a few shameless gangsters suddenly rushed into a harmonious and warm home. Although some thugs were driven away in the end, the house was left in a mess, which was very sad. It may even cause some panic. Su Ming posted this long Weibo at this time, just like a parent who stepped forward in times of crisis. It made people feel very trustworthy and gave fans on Weibo a backbone to unite more closely. It's so touching, director, you are firing tear gas again. This is not good, let me go to the toilet and cry for a while. You're crying now? You're really hopeless. But the principal is right, let's just play with ourselves and don't worry about those crazy people. Unity is strength. Let's support the Zoo Live broadcast platform together. Don't be deceived by those with ulterior motives. True feelings and sincere confessions are always more touching and more appealing than those things full of negative energy and dark side. With the Zoo's public database and long Weibo response, this little scolding storm, there wasn't much of a wave, and it seemed to have passed. At least, in the past 2 days, the boiling overlord and his like did not appear again. True feelings can move friends, but they may not move enemies. At least Su Ming is too lazy to move enemies with true feelings. His true feelings are not that cheap. When he posted on Weibo, Su Ming arranged for Shenyan to report the guys who left the most abusive comments on Weibo. There are real screenshots of swearing, which are a large amount of vicious abuse without any content. The evidence is conclusive. Several people such as Boiling Overlord were banned from Weibo for a week, so they did not continue to appear. Meanwhile, privately, the investigation has been going on in full swing. It was found out that after Nana left her job, she went to Boiling Live in Jiangjan City. He hummed her whole family. No wonder that person was called Boiling Overlord, he must be her fan, Wang Hao said. Anna Shen's large-scale data collection on the internet also yielded results. Most of the other netizens who came to Weibo to curse me were viewers of the Boiling Live broadcast platform. The reason why I say more than half, not all, is because most of the people have not even changed their nicknames, so they can be easily identified. The rest may also be an excited audience, but it is difficult to judge. That's enough, Su Ming said calmly. There was no intersection between Zhu and Boiling before. There was no enmity in the past and no enmity in recent days. If something like this happened, even if Boiling wasn't behind it, Boiling Company could not escape the blame. Su Ming directly called Boiling platform. It's not that we are asking for help, but we hope that both sides can work together to solve this problem. War of words and hype can indeed increase the popularity in a short period of time, but this is an evil path. The most critical point is that the whole country is now focusing on the construction of spiritual civilization. If the two sides continue to quarrel like this, it is inconsistent with the domestic environment. The scale of the scolding war is still within the controllable range. Once it gets out of control and things become uproar, who will be targeted? It's no good. In fact, Yang Chuan Daily has already called specifically, hoping to conduct an interview. Because the reputation of the zoo is surprisingly good, even a small scolding can generate news clues. Su Ming didn't want to increase his popularity in this way, so he suppressed it for the time being through his connections. The person who answered the phone was an operations director named Zhang from Boiling Platform, who was at the vice president level. Both parties are understanding people, and there is no need to say such meaningless words as although they are our audience, their actions have nothing to do with us. After Director Zhang heard what Su Ming said, he took it seriously and said on the phone that he would look into the matter. However, Director Zhang was also very tactful and did not say anything. He finally said with a smile, "Mr. Su, you are also a live broadcaster, so I think you can understand. All anchors want to be famous and rise to the top, so we can't be too strict. After all, our platforms the positioning is different. We are boiling and putting economic benefits first. Of course I understand. Su Ming smiled and changed the topic, but, precisely because of this, there is no serious conflict between the two of us in the business field. So even if we cannot cooperate, there is no need to start vicious competition. What do you think? Yes. It's not bad at all. Don't worry, Mr. Su, I will definitely check it out. If it is really the anchor and audience of our platform, I will try to restrain it as much as possible. When Su Ming made the call, Wang Hao and Shen Yan were also present. The two nodded frequently, feeling that Su Ming handled the matter very skillfully and steadily. But I still feel a little vaguely worried. Old Shen, do you think that this matter is simply the boiling platform, supporting Nana behind the scenes? Wang Hao asked Shen Yan in confusion. There are countless cases of various domestic live broadcast platforms becoming famous by hyping up. Shen Yan shrugged, I can't analyze this. President Su, what do you think? I don't care much. Let's check the details of the boiling platform first. Whether it is a friend or an enemy, we should first understand each other, right? Su Ming smiled slightly. As the saying goes, you should not have the intention to harm others, but you must be on guard against others. For Su Ming, the intention to harm others and the intention to be on guard against others are not the key points. The key point is that since this kind of thing has happened, he must be more careful. Especially this Nana, she can't help but remind him of Yang Meng from the TV station. She was just a troublemaker, buzzing like a fly. In Jiangjin City, the boiling platform has also taken action. After Director Zhang finished his work, he rested in his boss chair for a while, called up the host directory on his computer, and contacted Nana. I'm Director Zhang, Nana, come to my office. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 417. It is not only true feelings that can unite people's hearts, but also foreign wars. After Nana's fans collectively started posting on Douyin Weibo, the live broadcast room ushered in a super climax that night. In front of the screen, the people who participated in the scolding war were extremely excited. Several people, such as Boiling Overlord, number one brother of the rich family, etc., all she is a frequent visitor to her live broadcast room and receives a series of super rewards. Nana was also very capable and fulfilled her promise. In order to thank her brothers for supporting her, she performed a hot dance performance for 2 hours. Live broadcast platforms have become popular across the country in the past 2 years. The relevant laws and regulations are not yet complete. Strictly speaking, they do not exist. Therefore, there are many side effects on major platforms. Even so, Nana's performance tonight was a breakthrough, stimulating everyone's hormones. At such a happy moment, of course no one with an eye open would point out, Boiling Platform is actually a competition live broadcast platform, and Nana's room is dedicated to broadcasting LOL. There were only 2 things left in the room. Nana performed a large-scale performance. During the break, she cursed the zoo in the room and discussed how to launch a follow-up attack on the zoo. In a few days, Nana's die-hard fans actually increased significantly, her income soared, and the number of tourists and newly registered members more than doubled. Because the scolding war between the two parties on Weibo had some impact on the internet, many netizens found Nana's room out of curiosity. If this trend continues, the fiercer the scolding war will become, the more famous she will become. But soon, she discovered that the zoo stopped responding after sending out the database and a long Weibo post, and on her side, several main members of the scolding war, Boiling Overlord, and others were banned by the Weibo official. This is not possible. We must find a way to continue the scolding war. At this moment, Nana received a call from Director Zhang asking her to go to the office. She is also a director, this Director Zhang, and the director who introduced her to the live broadcast platform before. Their status is very different. Director Zhang is the first operations director, managing all aspects of the platform's internal and external affairs. The anchor's photogenicity, bans, and the promotion and planning of the program are nothing that Mr. Zhang cannot supervise. In boiling, apart from the number one general manager, he is Director Zhang. To compare with official positions, the general manager is the mayor, and Director Zhang is the executive deputy mayor. It can be said that as long as an anchor is still on the boiling platform, Director Zhang can control the power of life and death. Could it be? Nana was actually called directly to the other party's office to meet. Nana was moved. She deliberately chose a very charming dress, put on makeup and went to Director Zhang's office. Pushing the door open and entering, there was only Director Zhang in the office. Nana closed the door and twisted her waist to sit on the armrest of Director Zhang's boss chair naturally. She put her arms around his neck and said coquettishly, "Mr. Zhang, find someone else. What's going on?" Director Zhang frowned slightly, tilted his head, avoided Nana, pointed to the chair opposite the desk, and said expressionlessly, "Sit over, I have something to talk to you about." Unexpectedly, this trick did not work well for Director Zhang. There are many live broadcast platforms with beautiful female anchors. If you can't control this aspect and make mistakes after being seduced by a female anchor, Director Zhang will not be able to achieve the position he has today. Nana muttered dissatisfiedly, stood up and twisted her waist to sit across from her. Director Zhang then opened his mouth and asked about the details of the previous scolding. "Oh, that's right." Director Zhang nodded slightly and said as if talking to himself, "It seems that Yangchuan City Zoo's judgment is correct. Our anchor is really instigating this matter." Seeing that Director Zhang always had a stern face and didn't show a smile, Nana quickly said, "Mr. Zhang, you can't say that. I didn't let the fans curse people. It's because the fans can't understand the zoo's behavior. Be brave and seek justice for me." "Oh? Are you asking for justice?" Mr. Zhang said with a half smile. "Oh, Mr. Zhang, I have no right to interfere with what the fans are doing," Nana said in a coy voice. "But now people have come to your door, and those who are criticizing you are your fans." "This is true, but the influence now is very bad," Director Zhang said. "So what?" Regarding Nana's almost rude attitude, Director Zhang remained expressionless and asked, "It's not very good, but it will make an enemy for no reason, and it won't do any good." Listening to Director Zhang's words, it seemed that he did not support her actions, and even showed the intention to end the scolding. Nana was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. Her voice suddenly rose several degrees, and she said sharply, "Then I can't control it. Fans want to scold them. What can I do? I'm not their mother. If I don't scold them, they won't scold them. As for the benefits, humph." Nana smiled proudly and said confidently, "Mr. Zhang, you can take a look at the financial statements. In the recent period, especially after the fans and the zoo started scolding each other, how is my performance and how much revenue has it brought to boiling?" Director Zhang stared at Nana for a moment, then manipulated the mouse to click on the boiling background data on the computer to bring up the relevant reports for Nana's room. After just a few glances, Director Zhang's expression changed slightly. Sure enough, in just a few days, the total income of Nana's room had increased significantly. When he looked at Nana again, there was already a faint smile on his face. "I really have you, you are quite good at promoting yourself. Mr. Zhang, it's no good if you don't say anything now. There are more fans, more rewards, and the platform also shares money. I am creating benefits for the platform," Nana said with a high face. "Then what are you going to do next? Just keep scolding me like this? The zoo has already noticed that you are causing trouble," Director Zhang asked. "They are all engaged in network technology. Everyone has skills. The zoo wants to find out the truth based on clues. Not difficult. So what if the zoo notices it? Mr. Zhang, I've thought about it. The only people participating now are fans in my room. The momentum is too small. The total registered number of our enthusiastic audience is hundreds of thousands. If we can all mobilize if. Director Zhang didn't expect that Nana was so ambitious and wanted to instigate the entire excited fans to go to war with the zoo. The total number of fans from both sides is more than 1 million, a huge online battle of more than 1 million. If a commotion really breaks out, not only will Nana herself become popular immediately, but the popularity of the boiling platform will also be extremely high. Big improvement. But Director Zhang also has concerns. If the matter gets too big, will there be any unexpected negative effects? Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 418. Director Zhang was silent for a moment, his brain spinning rapidly, calculating the benefits and losses. There are countless mutual insults among netizens, also commonly known as scolding wars on the internet. They are staged every day. Many celebrities, even first-line celebrities, even use this as a shortcut to become famous. Jean, who was originally a tepid star, was scolded and became famous. If the fans of the two platforms really start a large-scale war of words, it is essentially similar to the fans of two celebrities fighting on Weibo. According to the order of magnitude of the fans of the two platforms, it will definitely cause a lot of commotion, and often people who use the internet, most of their friends and classmates also like to spend time on the internet. This is invisibly equivalent to free publicity. Of course, this may cause some riots, but this kind of riots is controllable, or in other words, the benefits of the riots are quite large. This can be seen from the recent report of Nana's Room. Boiling Platform is the first-class live broadcast platform in China. Of course, there are many competitors. In order to increase their popularity, those competitors did everything they could to increase their popularity. They even dared to do such obviously illegal things as creating people in live broadcasts. In the end, they banned one of them. The anchor was in trouble, and the live broadcast platform behind the anchor became popular all of a sudden. Compared with directly breaking the law to gain attention, starting a scolding war on the internet is much less risky. The zoo happens to be an opponent worth taking action. It has a high reputation, but is not something that can't be offended. It is perfect to use as a stepping stone. Just as Su Ming thought before, businessmen do not obey the law because they are kind, but because the price of breaking the law is too high. When the benefits far outweigh the costs, Director Zhang's answer is ready to come out. Well, boiling platform officials hope that all anchors and viewers will abide by the law and refrain from insulting and attacking others on the internet. But as you said, viewers are independent individuals, and the platform cannot enforce them. What this means is that the platform will not intervene and let Nana handle it on her own. If something happens, the platform will only be responsible for supervision at most and will not bear the main responsibility. I understand. I will tell other anchors right now and let them tell their fans to exercise restraint and not to participate in the boiling war against the zoo. Nana felt extremely proud that she could come up with such a solution. Originally, not all people in other rooms knew about the scolding war, but as long as those anchors fanned the flames a little, more new forces would definitely join the scolding war. The two hit it off immediately. Then I'll do it. Nana was in a good mood and couldn't wait to start her big plan. She got up and prepared to leave the office. Wait a minute. After the business talk was over, Director Zhang suddenly put away his serious face, as if he had changed a different person, showed a lewd smile that everyone understood, patted the deputy of the boss's chair, and asked, "The armrests of my chair, isn't it comfortable to sit?" Nana understood instantly, turned around the desk, and sat directly on Director Zhang's lap. She chuckled and said, "That's not as comfortable as sitting on Director Zhang's lap. Bitch man and woman, really dog man and woman." Su Ming got off the train, turned to look at the carriage and muttered a few curse words. On the high-speed train ride from Yangchuan City to Jiangjin City, The young couple sitting next to him kept kissing as if no one else was watching. Damn it, for almost an hour, the two people's mouths were barely separated, and they were making slurping sounds. The man's hands were groping around under the woman's t-shirt. Aren't they tired? Aren't you thirsty? Do you still have some social ethics? If you can't stand it, rent a house. If you don't have the money to rent a house, find a place in the wild. If you can't afford it, you can settle it in the toilet of KFC. What's the point of making trouble in the train mountain? Originally, it was none of Su Ming's business to have sex with someone directly on the train aisle. But these two guys were sitting next to Su Ming. People in the entire carriage were looking this way from beginning to end. There were 3 seats in a row, and these two people occupied 2. Su Ming could only feel extremely embarrassed. Sitting aside. Unfortunately, there were no animals in the car, not even a mosquito. Su Ming couldn't do anything to break them up. It was rare to go out and take a train without driving or riding a horse. To encounter such a thing, Su Ming almost came here with a blushing face. This at least shows that I still have a sense of shame. Thinking of this, I feel better. I took a taxi and came to the headquarters of Boiling Live platform. After calling the director, Su Ming felt that it was not too safe, so he took a car to Jiangjin City. After the two cities were connected by high-speed trains, it only took one morning to go back and forth between Jiangjin City and Yangchuan City. Very aspect. When we came to the office building where Boiling was located, on the stone tablet at the door of the building, there were the logos of various companies in the building. Boiling's logo was a ball of beating flames, with a slim female figure dancing in it. 9th floor. After pressing the button for the elevator door opened a moment later. After all the people inside came out, Su Ming stepped into the elevator together with several other people waiting for the elevator. Just as he was about to press the button for the 9th floor, Su Ming suddenly spotted a woman who had just walked out through the gap in the gradually closing elevator door. Her back looked very familiar. What a coincidence. After Nana left the Boiling headquarters building, she was busy for a whole afternoon, contacting more than a dozen Boiling anchors who were familiar or not familiar with her. Anyone is willing to do anything to become famous. That night, the entire Boiling Live broadcast platform seemed to be discussing the same topic. The zoo dares to bully me? Brothers, follow me and kill them. My broadsword is already hungry, and thirsty. Contact more people, there are too many bastards in the zoo. I'm so scared, I'll beat 10 of them one by one. Send a screenshot for you to see. The people at the zoo are calling us stupid. I will go to the zoo tomorrow to guard and chop to death those bastards who go to the zoo. Wholesale pesticides and poison all the animals. Ha 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 ha, they are just looking at it. Under the deliberate instigation of the anchor, the whole matter is no longer an issue of Nana seeking justice at the beginning, but a matter of the zoo platform relying on its strength of numbers to bully the people on the Boiling platform. Nana was very satisfied with the current results and sneered in her heart, they are indeed a bunch of idiots. After a little provocation, they will work hard for my mother. She put on a scared expression on her face. Brothers, please don't be impulsive, Nana, let's dance for everyone. She was wearing very little in front of the camera. As soon as she stood up, before she could dance, she suddenly felt a slight itch on her legs. Pa, a slap came down, and there was blood on his hand. It's strange, the air conditioner is on in the room, where are the mosquitoes coming from? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 419. Summer comes very early in Jiangjin City. On May Day, young girls from all walks of life have already put on short skirts and exposed their slim waists. After that, It gets hotter day by day. Before the summer officially arrives, Gyeongjin City has become a big steamer. Nana's rental house is on the third floor. There are small woods and grass downstairs. In this weather, mosquitoes and flies breed. The third floor is not too high, which is a height that mosquitoes can fly to. Even if the air conditioner is turned on, it is understandable that one or two mosquitoes occasionally get in through the door cracks and ventilation fans. The mosquitoes seem to be quite poisonous. After biting, a red bag soon appeared on Nana's thigh. Through the camera, you can see a red patch on the snow-white leg, which greatly affects the visual experience. And it was very itchy. The bitten place was like a bug biting, and Nana couldn't help but reach out to scratch it. People who have been bitten by mosquitoes know that it's okay not to scratch. The more you scratch, the more itchy it becomes, and the more itchy it is, the more you want to scratch. With such a commotion, it is definitely impossible to dance. I have never seen someone scratching their itch while dancing. It feels weird to think about it. Nana couldn't help it and posed for the camera. Wait a minute, brothers. Nana is so itchy. Give me 5 minutes to deal with it myself. After that, she ran to the next room to find toilet water. Nana flirted with him, and a group of wolves in the room shouted below. Nana, where are you itchy? How can 5 minutes be enough? At least an hour. You are bragging, 1 hour, I think you can't do it in 3 minutes. Get lost. After Nana came to another bedroom, she first found toilet water to apply on the bitten place, and then took advantage of this gap to make a few phone calls and briefly discuss the next large-scale quarrel with the boiling anchors who had been connected before. 5 minutes later, Nana returned to the camera and saw a lot of wrong messages on the screen. Brothers, you are so annoying. I was just bitten by a mosquito. If you don't believe me, look. Nana's rented room is an open community with no walls around it. The living area and the surrounding commercial area are integrated. The residential buildings are surrounded by shops of all sizes, and the night market is full of clothes and food. The night market in this area is famous in the province and even the country. The snacks are authentic and have a long history. Deep in a small alley, there is a beauty salon. From the frosted translucent glass door, you can vaguely see a few young women sitting on the sofa in the dim and ambiguous warm-colored lights in the beauty salon. In the alley outside the beauty salon, a young man squatted, holding a bottle of drink in one hand and a handful of skewers in the other, eating hard. If someone is paying attention, they will notice that this young man has been here for almost an hour. At first, he was eating steamed dumplings, and then he bought a bowl of duck blood vermicelli. Now, he has finished eating the duck blood vermicelli and ordered a bunch of grilled skewers from the barbecue shop at the entrance of the alley. People are coming and going on the street, and no one noticed him, but several ladies in the beauty salon have been paying attention to this young man. He is handsome, dressed in famous brands, and looks like a young master from a wealthy family. It's a virgin. Several ladies pointed at the young man in the beauty salon, and laughed from time to time. They often meet such young people, who have some money in their pockets and want to have some meat, but have no experience. They wander around the door of the beauty salon for a long time, not daring to come in, but reluctant to leave. They think this young man is such a person. The glass door of the beauty salon opened in a flash, and a lady in her 20s wearing a short skirt leaned against the door railing and smiled at the young man. Young boss, come in and have some fun. No need to thank me. The young man's mouth was full of mutton, and he raised his head and smiled at the lady. I'm waiting for someone. Who are you waiting for? What do you mean? I don't understand. Come on, come in, and wait while you massage. I'll charge you less and guarantee that you will be satisfied and want to come again next time. The lady was idle anyway, and seeing that the young man was handsome, she teased him. As she spoke, she simply walked out of the beauty salon and hugged the young man's arm. Sister, I'm really waiting for someone. The young man quickly pulled out his arm with a smile, and handed over a bunch of kidneys. How about you eat some? The lady was stunned. She had never seen such a thing before. She was also happy, and really took the kidneys and said with a smile, I'm really waiting for someone. Why don't you go inside and wait? It's so hot, there are many mosquitoes outside, and there is air conditioning inside. Thank you, no, I'm fine outside, the young man laughed. Virtue. You look down on us and think it's not clean inside, right? Ha. The lady misunderstood, snorted, and stopped pulling the young man. She turned around and walked back to the beauty salon. As she walked, she muttered, if you don't want to come, just stay outside and wait to be bitten to death by mosquitoes. You deserve it. The alley was full of sewage, and there was a night market outside. There were also several piles of garbage at the entrance of the alley. There were so many mosquitoes. As if to confirm the lady's words, not long after she left, a large group of mosquitoes buzzed around a young man. It is strange to say that if someone looks carefully around a young man at this time, they will find that although these big and fat mosquitoes are flying around a young man, none of them dare to land on the young man's skin, let alone bite him. This young man is of course Su Ming. This morning, he was about to go to the boiling headquarters and saw Nana, who just came down from the building in front of the building. They had only met once in Huiying County before. Nana had long forgotten what Su Ming looked like. Su Ming watched her live video several times because of the recent online quarrels with Nana, and remembered her appearance. What people say in front of people is never as true as what people say behind their backs. Su Ming changed his mind and simply didn't go to the boiling headquarters. He called the Saker Falcon patrolling in the sky, followed Nana, and followed him. This alley is less than 100 meters away from Nana's rented house. You can see Nana's room by looking up. He is here, directing mosquitoes to lurk in Nana's room and eavesdrop. It's not quite right to say that he was eavesdropping. With the soul attaching ability, Su Ming could see everything in the room through the mosquito's vision, just like playing a VR virtual reality game. There was a reason for choosing this alley. First, there were many mosquito scouts in the alley. If one was killed, a large number of them could be replenished immediately. Second, this small night market in Jiangjin City is famous throughout the country. There are all kinds of snacks, and the taste is really authentic. After eating a few bites, Su Ming couldn't bear to leave. So Su Ming began to eat at the night market while peeping at the female anchor's nightlife, and was almost pulled in for a big health check. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 420. Mosquitoes are more useful than bees. They are born to be spies. They easily squeezed into the room through the crack of the window. Su Ming overheard all the phone calls between Nana and several other anchors. From their conversation, it can be analyzed that the entire boiling platform was connected to prepare for a large-scale verbal war with the tacit approval of the top management of the boiling platform, that is, Director Zhang. Nana mentioned this more than once when she was talking to several other anchors. It should not be her nonsense. If there is no tacit approval from the top management of the platform, it is impossible for the entire platform to take collective action. Now it seems that the previous worries are not unreasonable. Director Zhang, who promised on the phone, made a 180-degree turn in his attitude because of the interests. Large-scale verbal wars are the most convenient means of hype, and you can become famous without spending a penny. If a few more media report it, spend money to hire some online public account promoters to hype it up and make it to the headlines, the effect will be better than spending millions on TV advertising. If the hype is really started, the reputation of the zoo will certainly be improved. From a certain perspective, it is even a win-win situation. As far as Su Ming knows, there are many online quarrels between two parties. On the surface, they quarrel to the death, but behind them are actually the two parties who have agreed in advance and jointly hyped. But the problem is that becoming famous through such swearing wars and negative news does not conform to the development plan of the zoo's live broadcast platform. It can certainly attract attention in the short term, but in the long run, it will affect the sunny and warm positive image that the zoo has finally established, and lead to the loss of fans who really like the zoo. For Boiling, it is a big profit, but for the zoo, it is not worth the loss. The simplest way is to shut down Darwin Yuke's Weibo for a few days. Boiling cannot always focus on the zoo platform. Weibo cannot leave messages, and it will not take long for the enthusiasm of Boiling fans to dissipate. After all, Boiling is such a large platform, and there are many affairs to deal with every day, and it is impossible to spend too much energy on it. But in this way, I always feel too aggrieved. Why should I run a live broadcast platform without any provocation, and spread positive energy all day long? Just because a female anchor wants to get promoted and an irrelevant colleague wants to hype, I have to retreat, swallow my anger, and close my Weibo? Besides, it's not that I'm afraid of thieves stealing, but I'm afraid of thieves thinking about it. If I shut it down this time, what should I do if I encounter similar things next time? Do I have to live in fear every day from now on, staring at the live broadcast platform and every move of the Boiling, and being calculated if I'm not careful? What's the fun of life then? How can I have time to fall in love, have sex, talk nonsense, and sleep? Scientific research shows that duck blood vermicelli with authentic soup can improve IQ in a short period of time. Su Ming came up with a method while eating duck blood vermicelli. Okay, maybe it's not the credit of duck blood vermicelli, but it doesn't matter. Since he wants to make a big fuss, then he will do as he wishes and make the biggest fuss to see who will be embarrassed in the end. Before that, Miss Nana, the instigator, should not think about sleeping well tonight. Boss, give me another 10 skewers of kidneys, Su Ming said viciously. The owner of the barbecue stall raised his head and rolled his eyes, thinking that this boy had kidney deficiency or something. He had been wandering in front of the beauty salon for more than an hour, but he didn't dare to go in. Instead, he came back to eat grilled kidneys. At Nana's home, the live broadcast was in progress. Nana was performing social shaking to the music, twisting her body lines exaggeratedly. After a leaning forward, her buttocks were raised high. Suddenly, I felt a little itchy on my neck, and I slapped it. The audience in front of the screen thought it was Nana's intention, and they were about to cheer, but when Nana raised her hand, a long-legged mosquito was printed on her butt. Although it had been flattened, it had already sucked blood, splashing blood all over her neck. What a big mosquito. Oh my God, there's so much blood. Nana rubbed her neck in frustration, smeared some floral water on the wound, forced a smile, and continued to dance. Not half a minute after dancing, another big mosquito buzzed in her ear. When the mosquito passed in front of her eyes, she could even clearly see the gray stripes and long pointed mouth of the mosquito. Using the dance movements, she waved her hands several times in a row, trying to drive away the big mosquito, but the mosquito seemed to have a grudge against her, just refusing to leave, circling around her several times, and finally landing on her slender neck. Snap, a slap, this time I didn't hit it, but my neck was slapped red. Then there were several consecutive mosquito attacks, and the most hateful one even bit her right cheek directly, and a big bulge appeared. Nana finally got angry. Where did all these mosquitoes come from? Can you still let me dance properly? The bites started to itch at the same time. How could she have the heart to dance now? She only hated that she didn't have more hands to scratch the itch. 2 hands were not enough. In desperation, she could only end the live broadcast hastily, and then closed the doors and windows of the room tightly, lit 2 electronic mosquito coils, took the mosquito spray, searched back and forth in the room for several times, and killed 4 or 5 mosquitoes hiding in the corners. Only then did she feel relieved. What bad luck, it itches so badly, let's go take a bath. Nana was the only one at home, and she turned on the hot water valve of the bathtub while muttering, and took off her thin underwear. Downstairs, Su Ming's nosebleed almost sprayed out. How could he say that? The welfare suddenly appeared. In the bathroom, Nana was naked and lying comfortably in the big bathtub. In the corner of the bathroom roof, a big flower mosquito was lying, staring at the person below. The water mist was rising gradually. Su Ming, oh no, the mosquito's vision gradually began to blur. Seeing that the welfare time was about to end, Nana finally finished her bath, put on a big bathrobe, returned to the bedroom, turned on the air conditioner, and went to bed. Hidden arrows always consume energy. After a busy day, Nana soon fell into a dream. A group of big flower mosquitoes quietly entered the bedroom one by one through the gap of the air conditioner exhaust pipe. The bedroom was filled with the pungent smell of mosquito coils. For mosquitoes, smelling the temperature of electronic mosquito coils for a short time is not fatal, it will only make them want to leave instinctively. However, this group of mosquitoes seemed to be unaffected. Led by a large flower mosquito, they flew silently towards the lovely girl lying on the bed.